Have you ever wondered why some people seem irreplaceable? Why do they hold a magnetic power over others, compelling those around them to value their presence and dread their absence? If you've ever felt overlooked, taken for granted, or unsure how to shift the dynamics of your relationships, you're not alone. Let's challenge a common misconception: the idea that constantly giving, sacrificing, or proving your worth will make someone cherish you more. While generosity and kindness have their place, too much of either without self-respect can lead to one thing: being undervalued. If you've been feeling this way, let me assure you there's a better way. Today, we'll uncover the secrets to making others truly value your presence and, most importantly, worry about losing you. This isn't about playing games or manipulation. It's about becoming the kind of person who commands respect, admiration, and connection through authenticity and self-growth. You'll discover practical, transformative steps rooted in both Stoicism and modern relationship dynamics. Steps that empower you to shift the focus inward while creating powerful ripples outward. Stick around, because the final insight might be the most impactful of all. Now, let's dive into the first step: how to establish your value. 1. Establish your value. What does it mean to truly establish your value? At its core, it's about becoming someone who knows their worth, someone who doesn't just expect respect, but lives in a way that naturally commands it. This isn't about arrogance, it's about authenticity. But here's the catch: are you currently showing the world your value, or are you hiding it behind insecurity, overpleasing, or self-doubt? Let's break this down. Think about the people you admire most. What makes them stand out? Chances are, it's not just their accomplishments, but their unwavering sense of self. They move through life with a confidence that's not loud but steady. They don't beg for attention, they naturally attract it by staying grounded in who they are. Now, ask yourself, how often do you focus on your strengths and unique qualities? Or do you spend more time worrying about what others think of you? Stoicism teaches us to focus only on what we can control: our thoughts, actions, and character. If you shift your energy toward building and showcasing your strengths instead of chasing validation, you'll naturally become more valuable in the eyes of others. Here's an actionable step. Take inventory of your life. What do you bring to the table that sets you apart? Is it your creativity, your empathy, your ability to solve problems, or your sense of humor? Don't diminish these qualities by assuming everyone has them. They're yours, and they're part of what makes you unique. Write them down and commit to nurturing them daily. But establishing value isn't just about what you already have, it's also about growth. Imagine you're building a masterpiece. Would you stop halfway? Of course not. So why stop investing in yourself? When you prioritize your personal development, you become more intriguing, capable, and inspiring. Here's a challenge. In the next month, set one ambitious goal that aligns with your passions or talents. It could be learning a new skill, tackling a fitness milestone, or pursuing a creative project. Not only will this boost your self-esteem, but it will also make others see you as someone who's constantly evolving, a person they'd be foolish to take for granted. Remember, Stoic relationships thrive on mutual respect and admiration. When you hold yourself to a higher standard, others will follow suit. The key is to radiate confidence in your worth, not by shouting it from the rooftops, but by living it quietly, powerfully, and authentically. So, are you ready to stop hiding and start standing out? It's time to become the person who doesn't just expect respect, but naturally inspires it. This is the first step toward making others worry about losing you, and it's only the beginning. 2. Stop overinvesting. Let's be real. How many times have you poured every ounce of yourself into a relationship, friendship, or even a work connection, only to feel drained, unappreciated, or worse, taken for granted? It's a harsh reality. When you overinvest in others without balance, it often backfires. Instead of inspiring gratitude or connection, it creates a dynamic where your value is overlooked. Why does this happen? And how can you shift the tide? Let's explore. Human nature is fascinating. When something or someone is always readily available, we start to undervalue it. Think about water. It's essential to life, yet many of us barely notice how precious it is until we experience a drought. Relationships work the same way. If you're constantly giving without limits or boundaries, the people around you may start to take you for granted. Now, take a moment to reflect. Are you the person who's always texting first, always rearranging your plans to accommodate someone else, or always offering help without expecting anything in return? While generosity and kindness are admirable traits, excessive overinvestment can lead to an imbalance. Instead of earning the respect you deserve, it may inadvertently lower your perceived value. This isn't manipulation, it's simply the psychology of effort and appreciation. Stoicism teaches us a critical principle here. Focus on what you can control, not on the approval or actions of others. Overinvesting is often a sign that we're seeking external validation or fearing rejection. But what if you could shift that energy inward, toward yourself? What if you could create a life where you no longer rely on others for fulfillment? Let me ask you, why do you think overinvesting feels so natural to many of us? Is it because we're taught that effort equals love? Or because we fear that if we don't give enough, we'll lose the people we care about? These beliefs are rooted in insecurity, not truth. The reality is that relationships thrive when both parties invest equally, not when one person constantly gives while the other takes. Here's a mindset shift. What if you started treating your time and energy as valuable resources? Imagine your effort as a currency that needs to be spent wisely. Would you spend it on people who consistently undervalue you, or would you reserve it for those who show genuine appreciation and reciprocity? To make this shift, you don't need to play games or withdraw entirely. Instead, focus on balancing the scales. If you're always the one initiating, step back and see if the other person reaches out. If you're constantly making sacrifices, pause and ask yourself whether those sacrifices are truly appreciated or expected. These small adjustments can create a massive shift in how others perceive and value you. Another actionable step is to create space in your relationships. This doesn't mean cutting people off, but rather giving them room to miss you. For example, instead of being instantly available every time someone calls or texts, take a moment before responding. This isn't about being cold or aloof. It's about showing that your time is valuable and that you prioritize your well-being. Here's a quick exercise. Think of one relationship in your life where you feel you're overinvesting. Write down 3 ways you can reduce that overinvestment while still maintaining a positive connection. For instance, if you're always the one organizing plans, step back and let the other person take the lead. If you're constantly giving advice, practice listening without immediately offering solutions. This isn't just about relationships with others, it's also about the relationship with yourself. When you stop over-investing in others, you create the space to invest in your growth, happiness, and peace of mind. And as you grow, your value becomes more evident, not just to others but to yourself. When you strike this balance, something magical happens. The people around you start to notice and appreciate your presence more. They'll worry about losing you because they recognize that you're not someone who gives endlessly without expecting respect and reciprocity. But let me ask you, are you willing to take this step? Are you ready to stop pouring from an empty cup and start prioritizing yourself? If this resonates with you, like this video and comment number 1 below, because step 1 is all about recognizing your worth and acting on it. And if you're finding these insights helpful, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you can continue learning powerful strategies to transform your relationships through stoicism and self-respect. Together, we'll uncover more ways to create authentic, fulfilling connections where you are valued for who you truly are. By practicing this second principle, you set the foundation for relationships built on mutual appreciation. You're no longer chasing someone else's validation, you're embracing your own value and showing others why they should too. Are you ready for the next step? Let's keep building this journey toward becoming the person no one wants to lose. 3. Cultivate independence. Independence is one of the most attractive qualities you can possess, yet many people misunderstand what it truly means. It's not about being distant or disconnected from others. Rather, it's about having a strong sense of self that allows you to thrive regardless of who is or isn't by your side. When you cultivate independence, you send a powerful message. I am whole and complete on my own. Let's start with an honest question. How much of your happiness depends on other people? Be truthful with yourself. Do you feel uneasy when you're alone? Do you rely on others to validate your choices or provide you with a sense of purpose? If so, it's time to shift your perspective. Stoicism teaches us that happiness comes from within, not from external sources. You are responsible for your own peace of mind, no matter what's happening around you. Cultivating independence doesn't mean you have to do everything alone, but it does mean creating a life where you are your own anchor. Think of it this way. When you're independent, you're like a tree with deep roots. No matter how strong the wind blows, you remain steady. This steadiness is incredibly compelling to others because it demonstrates strength, resilience, and self-assurance. Here's a practical way to begin. Start by building a routine that focuses on you. What are the things you love doing that don't depend on anyone else? Maybe it's exercising, reading, pursuing a hobby, or working on a personal goal. Dedicate time each day to these activities. Not only will this make you feel more fulfilled, but it will also show others that your life is full, dynamic, and exciting, whether or not they're involved. Another aspect of independence is emotional self-sufficiency. It's natural to seek comfort or advice from others during difficult times, but there's a fine line between seeking support and becoming emotionally dependent. The next time you're faced with a challenge, ask yourself, can I handle this on my own first? Often you'll find that you're more capable than you think. Let's look at this from another angle. Have you ever been drawn to someone who seems to have their life together? Someone who's confident, goal-oriented, and passionate about their interests? That kind of person radiates independence. They don't cling to others for approval or identity. Instead, they create their own path. When you embody this mindset, you naturally become someone others admire and respect. But cultivating independence isn't just about how others perceive you. It's also about how you feel about yourself. There's a unique kind of freedom that comes with knowing you can stand on your own. You don't have to fear being alone or losing someone because you've built a life that fulfills you. This is a core principle of Stoicism, to focus on what you can control and to find contentment within yourself. Now, let's talk about how independence ties into relationships. Many people make the mistake of thinking that being independent will push others away. In reality, the opposite is true. When you're independent, you show that you're not clinging to someone out of need or insecurity. This makes your connections more genuine because they're based on choice, not dependence. Independence also allows you to set healthier boundaries. When you're not afraid of losing someone, you're more likely to stand up for yourself and communicate your needs. This creates a dynamic of mutual respect, where both parties value and appreciate each other without feeling obligated or trapped. But independence doesn't mean you have to shut people out or reject help when you need it. It's about balance. You can be independent while still building strong, supportive relationships. The key is to ensure that your happiness and sense of self-worth come from within, not from external sources. Here's another question to consider. What would your life look like if you were completely independent? Imagine waking up each day feeling confident in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Imagine pursuing your goals without hesitation, knowing that your worth isn't tied to anyone else's opinion. This is the power of independence. It liberates you from fear and empowers you to live authentically. One way to measure your independence is to assess how much of your life aligns with your own values and goals. Are you pursuing dreams that truly matter to you, or are you following a path that someone else expects of you? Take some time to reflect on this. If you find that you've been prioritizing others' desires over your own, it's time to make a change. Start small and take one step toward a goal that feels personal and meaningful. Independence also means embracing solitude. Many people fear being alone, but solitude can be incredibly enriching when you approach it with the right mindset. Use this time to connect with yourself, reflect on your values, and recharge your energy. When you learn to enjoy your own company, you become less reliant on others for fulfillment. Finally, remember that independence is a journey, not a destination. It's something you cultivate over time, through consistent effort and self-reflection. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and continue striving to build a life that feels authentic and empowering. When you embrace independence, you'll notice a profound shift in how others treat you. They'll see you as someone who's confident, capable, and self-assured, someone they'd be lucky to have in their lives. And most importantly, you'll feel a deep sense of pride in knowing that you are your own foundation. As Stoicism reminds us, the only true freedom is freedom from dependence on external things. By cultivating independence, you take a powerful step toward this freedom, and you become someone who others will genuinely worry about losing. 4. Be mysterious and unpredictable. Let me ask you this. How much do people really know about you? I don't mean the surface level stuff, your favorite color, or where you went to school. I mean the essence of you. Are you an open book that anyone can read at a glance? Or is there a depth to your character that keeps people intrigued, wondering what's next? One of the most captivating qualities a person can have is an air of mystery. It's not about being secretive or evasive, it's about maintaining a sense of individuality and unpredictability that keeps people curious. When you're too predictable, the excitement fades and familiarity can breed complacency. But when you're a little mysterious, you create a dynamic where others are constantly engaged, always wanting to know more. I think about the most intriguing person you've ever met. Chances are, they weren't someone who laid all their cards on the table immediately. Instead, they revealed themselves gradually, leaving you wanting more with every interaction. That's the power of mystery. It creates a pull that's hard to resist. But how do you cultivate this quality without coming across as distant or playing games? It starts with embracing your complexity. You're not a one-dimensional character. You're a multifaceted individual with unique thoughts, dreams, and experiences. We don't feel the need to explain or justify every aspect of yourself to others. Let some things remain unsaid, not because you're hiding, but because you're embracing your depth. Another key element of mystery is unpredictability. Humans are creatures of habit, and it's easy to fall into predictable routines in our interactions with others. But when you shake things up, whether it's trying something new, surprising someone with an unexpected gesture, or simply responding in a way they didn't anticipate, you create a sense of excitement. People are drawn to those who keep them guessing, and unpredictability adds an element of adventure to your relationships. Here's a practical step. The next time you're with someone, resist the urge to overshare or predictably respond. Instead, ask a thought-provoking question or share a story that reveals a new layer of your personality. Watch how their interest grows as they realize there's more to you than they originally thought. Stoicism also teaches us the value of composure and restraint. When you're calm, deliberate, and not easily swayed, you naturally exude an air of mystery. People will wonder what's going on beneath the surface, and this curiosity will draw them closer. You don't have to be dramatic or aloof. Just practice being mindful of what you share and when you share it. But mystery isn't about manipulation, it's about being authentic while maintaining a sense of boundaries. Not everyone needs to know everything about you right away. Take your time to let people in, and you'll find that they value the connection more because they've had to work for it. Unpredictability also applies to how you approach life. Are you someone who's constantly exploring new hobbies, learning new skills, or pursuing new goals? If not, now is the time to start. When you're always evolving and growing, you naturally become more interesting to others. They'll see you as someone who's dynamic and inspiring, someone who's always full of surprises. Here's a fun exercise. Think about one thing you've always wanted to try but haven't yet. Maybe it's a new sport, a creative project, or even a unique way of expressing yourself. Commit to giving it a shot this month. Not only will this keep your life exciting, but it will also add to your allure as others notice your willingness to embrace new experiences. Mystery and unpredictability also have a powerful effect on how people value you. When you're not always readily available or predictable, they start to realize they can't take your time and presence for granted. They'll begin to appreciate the moments you do share with them, knowing that you're not someone who's easily pinned down. But let me be clear. This isn't about playing hard to get or creating unnecessary distance. It's about being intentional and thoughtful with your interactions. When you give your attention and energy selectively, it carries more weight, and people notice. They start to worry about losing the connection because they see it as something rare and valuable. So, let's tie this back to you. Are you ready to embrace the art of mystery? Are you willing to let go of the need to be completely understood by everyone and instead focus on being authentically yourself? If this idea resonates with you, like this video and comment number 1 below, because the first step to building intrigue is recognizing your own worth. And if you're enjoying these insights and want to learn more about building Stoic relationships and personal growth, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Each video is designed to give you practical tools and wisdom that can transform your approach to life and relationships. Remember, mystery isn't about hiding, it's about revealing yourself slowly, intentionally, and authentically. When you do this, you'll notice that others are not just drawn to you but deeply invested in maintaining their connection with you. They'll worry about losing you not because you're playing games, but because you become someone truly unforgettable. Now, let's keep going. There's even more to discover. 5. Set clear boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define how others treat you, and they are one of the most powerful tools for ensuring you're respected and valued in any relationship. Yet for many people, the idea of setting boundaries feels uncomfortable. Why? Because we fear rejection or conflict, or we worry that setting limits will push others away. But here's the truth. Boundaries don't drive people away, they help establish the respect that makes a connection stronger. Let me ask you, do you currently have clear boundaries in your relationships? If not, how often do you find yourself feeling drained, frustrated, or even resentful because someone has overstepped your limits? These feelings aren't random, they're signals that you need to set clearer expectations for how others interact with you. Setting boundaries begins with understanding your own needs and values. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, and your boundaries are entirely within your control. You can't dictate how others will behave, but you can choose what you will accept and how you will respond. This mindset shifts the power dynamic in your favor, allowing you to navigate relationships with clarity and confidence. Here's a simple but profound truth. People treat you based on the standards you set for yourself. If you consistently allow others to disregard your feelings or take advantage of your time, they'll assume it's acceptable. But when you establish firm boundaries, you communicate that your needs matter and that you value yourself enough to enforce them. Start by identifying areas in your life where boundaries are lacking. For example, do you find yourself saying yes to things you don't want to do, just to avoid disappointing someone? Do you tolerate behaviors that make you uncomfortable because you don't want to cause conflict? Write these instances down. They're the starting points for setting boundaries. Once you've identified these areas, the next step is communication. Boundaries are only effective if they're clearly expressed. But how do you communicate them without sounding harsh or confrontational? The key is to be assertive but kind. For example, instead of saying, "You always take advantage of me," try, "I need to prioritize my own time, so I won't be able to take on that task." Notice the difference. The first statement focuses on blame, while the second focuses on your needs. This approach not only makes it easier to express your boundaries, but also reduces the likelihood of defensiveness from the other person. Here's another question to reflect on. Why do we hesitate to set boundaries in the first place? Often it's because we're afraid of losing the relationship. But the irony is that relationships without boundaries are often the ones that eventually collapse. When you allow resentment to build by not addressing issues, it creates a rift that's much harder to repair than the initial discomfort of setting a boundary. Boundaries also play a crucial role in maintaining your sense of self. When you have clear limits, you're less likely to lose yourself in a relationship or sacrifice your well-being for someone else. This aligns with the Stoic principle of maintaining inner peace regardless of external circumstances. Boundaries protect your peace, allowing you to engage with others from a place of strength rather than neediness or fear. But boundaries aren't just about saying no to others, they're also about saying yes to yourself. They create the space for you to focus on your growth, passions, and well-being. When you prioritize your own needs, you become a more fulfilled and grounded person, which in turn makes you more attractive and valuable in the eyes of others. Let's explore a practical example. Imagine you're in a friendship where the other person frequently vents about their problems but rarely shows interest in yours. Over time, you start to feel like the relationship is one-sided. Instead of letting resentment build, you could set a boundary by saying something like, "I really value our friendship, but I feel like we spend a lot of time talking about your concerns. I'd appreciate it if we could also share more about what's going on in my life." This not only addresses the issue, but also reinforces the value you place on mutual respect. Another aspect of setting boundaries is learning to enforce them consistently. It's not enough to state your limits once, you need to follow through when they're tested. For instance, if someone repeatedly disrespects your boundary, you may need to reevaluate their place in your life. This doesn't mean you have to cut them off completely, but you might choose to limit your interactions or adjust your expectations. Enforcing boundaries takes courage, but it's worth it. When you stand firm in your values, you not only earn respect, but also create deeper, healthier connections. People will start to worry about losing you, not because you're threatening to leave, but because they recognize that you have the strength to walk away from situations that don't honor your worth. It's also important to remember that boundaries are a two-way street. Just as you set limits for how others treat you, you should also respect the boundaries of others. This mutual understanding creates a foundation of trust and respect that strengthens any relationship. Finally, let me leave you with this thought. Boundaries are an act of self-love. They show that you care about yourself enough to protect your energy, time, and emotional well-being. When you prioritize your own needs, you inspire others to do the same. And that's a dynamic that leads to truly fulfilling relationships. In the end, boundaries are not walls, they're bridges. They allow you to connect with others in a way that's authentic and sustainable, ensuring that your relationships are built on respect and mutual appreciation. When you master the art of setting clear boundaries, you become someone others deeply value and someone they'll worry about losing. 6. Enhance your social proof. Have you ever noticed how people tend to gravitate toward those who are surrounded by others? It's a phenomenon rooted in human psychology. When someone is valued by a group, they naturally appear more desirable. This is the concept of social proof, and it plays a powerful role in how others perceive you. If you want people to worry about losing you, enhancing your social proof is a strategy you can't ignore. Let's start with a simple question. How do others see you in your social circles? Are you someone who commands respect and admiration, or do you fade into the background? The good news is that social proof isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. By curating the way you interact with others and the relationships you nurture, you can elevate your presence in ways that make people take notice. Social proof begins with the company you keep. If you surround yourself with supportive, ambitious, and positive people, others will naturally associate you with those qualities. Think about the kind of energy you bring into your relationships and whether it aligns with the type of connections you want to cultivate. Are you lifting others up and building meaningful bonds, or are you settling for shallow interactions? Here's a challenge. Take stock of your current social network. Who are the people who inspire, motivate, and genuinely care about you? Who are the ones draining your energy or holding you back? By intentionally spending more time with people who uplift you, you'll not only enhance your social proof but also create an environment where your value is celebrated. Another way to boost your social proof is to actively contribute to your community. This doesn't mean you need to be the loudest person in the room or constantly seek the spotlight. Instead, focus on being someone who adds value, whether it's offering help, sharing knowledge, or simply being a source of encouragement. Your contributions will make a lasting impression. People remember those who make their lives better, and they'll worry about losing someone who brings positivity and support. But social proof isn't just about your immediate circle. It's also about how you present yourself to the world. In today's digital age, your online presence is a significant part of your social proof. Are your social media profiles a reflection of your best self, or are they neglected and inconsistent? By curating your online presence, you can amplify your reach and influence. Share your passions, celebrate your achievements, and connect with like-minded individuals. When others see that you're someone with a vibrant, engaged life, they'll naturally be drawn to you. Here's another perspective to consider. Social proof isn't about trying to impress others or putting on a facade. It's about living authentically in a way that resonates with your values and interests. When you focus on what genuinely excites and fulfills you, your enthusiasm becomes contagious. People are drawn to those who are passionate and confident, and they'll want to be part of your journey. Let's take a moment to reflect on how this applies to your relationships. When someone sees that you're valued by others, it changes how they perceive you. They start to recognize your worth, not just because of what you bring to their life, but because of the impact you have on those around you. They'll worry about losing you because they know they're not the only one who sees your value. Social proof also ties into Stoic relationships. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our character and actions rather than seeking validation from others. By being someone who consistently acts with integrity, kindness, and purpose, you naturally attract people who appreciate and admire those qualities. This isn't about manipulation. It's about showing up as your best self and letting your actions speak for you. Let me share a practical exercise. Think about one way you can enhance your social proof this week. Maybe it's reconnecting with an old friend, joining a group or club related to your interests, or volunteering for a cause you care about. These small actions not only enrich your life but also demonstrate that you're someone who values connection and community. Here's the beauty of social proof. It's not just about what others think of you, it's about how you see yourself. When you surround yourself with positive influences and engage in meaningful activities, you naturally feel more confident and fulfilled. This inner transformation radiates outward, making others notice and appreciate your presence even more. If you're starting to see the power of social proof and how it can transform your relationships, like this video and comment number 1 below. Let's keep this conversation going, because every step you take toward enhancing your social proof brings you closer to becoming the person others worry about losing. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more insights on Stoicism, personal growth, and building meaningful connections. Together, we'll continue exploring practical ways to elevate your life and relationships one step at a time. By focusing on social proof, you're not just increasing your value in the eyes of others, you're creating a life that's rich with connection, purpose, and authenticity. This is what makes people worry about losing you, not because you're trying to impress them, but because you've become someone who's genuinely irreplaceable. Let's keep building on this momentum, because there's so much more to uncover. 7. Focus on personal growth. When was the last time you truly invested in yourself, not for the sake of impressing anyone else, but because you genuinely wanted to become a better version of who you are? Personal growth is one of the most powerful ways to make others worry about losing you, and it starts with a simple yet profound realization. You are a constant work in progress. Growth doesn't just enhance your life, it elevates how others perceive you. Why? Because when you're actively improving, you're not stagnant. You're dynamic, evolving, and moving toward your potential. This energy is magnetic. It makes people take notice and inspires them to question where they stand in relation to your journey. Let's start with a Stoic principle. Focus on what you can control. Your growth, mental, emotional, and physical, is entirely within your grasp. Whether it's developing new skills, improving your health, or expanding your knowledge, every step you take towards self-improvement sends a clear message. I value myself, and I'm not afraid to invest in my own future. Ask yourself, what areas of your life could benefit from more attention and effort? Are there skills you've always wanted to master, books you've been meaning to read, or habits you've wanted to develop? The answers to these questions are the starting points for your personal growth journey. But growth isn't just about achieving big milestones, it's about the small, consistent actions that add up over time. Let's say you want to improve your fitness. It's not about running a marathon tomorrow, it's about committing to daily walks, gradually increasing your endurance, and celebrating each step forward. The same applies to any area of growth, whether it's learning a language, building emotional resilience, or refining your communication skills. One of the most impactful aspects of personal growth is the way it shifts your mindset. When you focus on improving yourself, you stop seeking validation from others. Your self-worth no longer depends on external opinions, because you know you're actively working toward becoming the best version of yourself. This inner confidence is incredibly attractive. It shows that you're self-assured and independent, two qualities that make others worry about losing you. Here's a practical exercise. Write down 3 areas where you want to grow over the next 6 months. For each area, list one specific action you can take this week to start making progress. For example, if you want to improve your communication skills, you might read a book on the subject or practice active listening in your conversations. These small steps are the building blocks of meaningful change. But let's not forget one of the most important elements of growth: embracing failure. Growth isn't a straight line, and setbacks are inevitable. Stoicism reminds us that obstacles are opportunities in disguise. Every failure teaches you something valuable about yourself, your limits, and how to overcome them. When you view challenges as part of the process rather than barriers to success, you develop a resilience that sets you apart. This resilience has a profound impact on how others see you. When people witness your ability to learn from adversity and keep moving forward, they gain a deep respect for your character. They recognize that you're not someone who gives up easily, and that makes them value you even more. Personal growth also creates a ripple effect. As you grow, you naturally inspire those around you to do the same. Whether it's a friend who starts pursuing their own goals because of your example, or a partner who feels motivated to improve themselves, your growth becomes a catalyst for positive change in others. This dynamic strengthens your connections and makes them worry about losing someone who elevates their life. But growth isn't just about what others see, it's about how you feel. There's a unique satisfaction that comes from knowing you're actively working toward your potential. It's a sense of purpose and fulfillment that can't be taken away by anyone else. And when you live with this sense of purpose, it changes the way you interact with the world. Let me ask you this: what would your life look like if you fully committed to your personal growth? Imagine waking up each day feeling energized and excited about the progress you're making. Imagine the confidence you'd exude, the opportunities you'd attract, and the respect you'd command. This is the life you can create when you prioritize your growth. Another key aspect of personal growth is aligning your actions with your values. Stoicism teaches us to live virtuously, focusing on qualities like wisdom, courage, and integrity. When your growth is guided by these principles, it becomes more than just self-improvement. It becomes a path to living a meaningful, authentic life. Here's another exercise. Reflect on your core values. What principles guide your decisions and actions? Once you've identified them, ask yourself how you can incorporate these values into your growth journey. For example, if you value kindness, you might look for ways to give back to your community while pursuing your personal goals. Finally, remember that personal growth is a lifelong journey. There's no finish line, and that's a good thing. The more you grow, the more you realize how much potential you still have to uncover. This mindset keeps you humble, motivated, and constantly evolving. When you commit to your growth, you become someone who's not only respected and admired, but also irreplaceable. People will worry about losing you because they see your journey and realize they don't want to be left behind. But more importantly, you'll gain a deep sense of fulfillment and confidence, knowing that you're living up to your potential and creating a life that's truly your own. 8. Know when to walk away. One of the most powerful things you can do in any relationship is to know your worth and to act on it when the situation demands it. Walking away isn't about giving up or being spiteful. It's about valuing yourself enough to step away from relationships that no longer serve your growth, peace, or well-being. This is the ultimate display of self-respect, and it's a move that makes people truly worry about losing you. Let me ask you, have you ever stayed in a relationship or situation long after you knew it wasn't right for you? Why? Was it fear of being alone, hope that things would improve, or reluctance to let go of something familiar? These feelings are natural, but they often keep us trapped in dynamics where we're undervalued. Stoicism teaches us a critical lesson here. Focus on what you can control. You can't control how others treat you or whether they change, but you can control how you respond. Walking away is the ultimate act of taking control. It says, I won't settle for less than I deserve, and I'm willing to prioritize my own well-being. Here's a truth that can be difficult to accept. Not everyone will appreciate your worth, and not every relationship is meant to last. Clinging to someone who doesn't value you only diminishes your own sense of self. When you walk away, you send a clear message, not just to the other person, but to yourself, that you refuse to compromise your standards. But walking away isn't easy. It takes courage, clarity, and a deep understanding of your own value. That's why it's so important to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally. Start by asking yourself, what do I truly want and need in a relationship? Am I getting those things here? If the answer is no, it's time to consider whether staying is worth the cost. When you decide to walk away, it's not about making a dramatic exit or seeking revenge. It's about stepping back with grace and dignity. Thank the relationship for what it taught you, and move forward with confidence, knowing that you're creating space for something better. Let's look at how walking away impacts others. When someone sees that you're willing to leave, it forces them to reevaluate how they've treated you. They realize that you're not someone who will tolerate being taken for granted. This shift often makes people recognize your value in a way they hadn't before. They start to worry about losing you, not because you're playing games, but because you've demonstrated your strength and self-respect. Here's a practical exercise. Think about a relationship or situation in your life where you feel undervalued. Write down what you've done to try to improve it and whether those efforts have been reciprocated. If the dynamic hasn't changed, consider whether staying aligns with your values and goals. Sometimes the most empowering choice is to let go. But knowing when to walk away isn't just about leaving toxic relationships. It's also about creating boundaries with yourself. Are there habits, thoughts, or behaviors that you need to let go of to grow into the person you want to be? Walking away from these patterns is just as important as walking away from unhealthy relationships. This decision isn't always black and white, and that's okay. Sometimes it takes time to recognize when it's the right moment to step back. Trust your intuition and give yourself permission to prioritize your well-being. Remember, walking away isn't a failure, it's an act of strength and self-love. One of the most liberating aspects of walking away is the freedom it gives you. When you let go of relationships that no longer serve you, you create space for new opportunities, connections, and experiences. You're no longer tied to someone else's expectations or limitations. Instead, you're free to explore your potential and live authentically. Let me share one more Stoic insight. Walking away isn't about proving a point or trying to make someone else change. It's about focusing on your own journey and staying true to your values. When you make decisions based on what's best for you, rather than trying to control or influence others, you find peace and empowerment. So how can you apply this principle in your life? Start by building your confidence and self-worth. The more you invest in yourself, the easier it becomes to recognize when a relationship isn't meeting your needs. And when you do decide to walk away, you'll do so from a place of strength, not desperation. If this resonates with you, like this video and comment number 1 below. Let's create a community where we support each other in prioritizing our well-being and building relationships that truly uplift us. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more insights on Stoic relationships, personal growth, and living a life of purpose. Each video is designed to help you take practical steps toward becoming the best version of yourself. Walking away is never easy, but it's often the most empowering choice you can make. When you prioritize your own worth and well-being, you not only transform your own life, but also show others why they should never take you for granted. This is how you become someone they truly worry about losing, because you've shown that you're strong enough to walk away and irreplaceable enough to stay unforgettable. You've just explored 8 transformative principles that can completely shift the dynamics of your relationships, your self-worth, and how others perceive you. From establishing your value, stopping overinvestment, and cultivating independence, to embracing mystery, setting boundaries, enhancing social proof, focusing on personal growth, and knowing when to walk away. Each of these steps is designed to empower you. Together, they create a foundation for becoming the kind of person who is not only deeply respected, but also genuinely irreplaceable. Here's the truth. Making others worry about losing you isn't about manipulation or games. It's about living authentically, with confidence and purpose. When you embody these principles, you naturally command the respect and admiration of those around you, not because you demand it, but because you've earned it by being your best self. This is the essence of Stoicism and relationships. Focusing on what you can control, staying true to your values, and cultivating the inner strength to thrive, no matter the circumstances. As you move forward, I encourage you to take these lessons to heart. Reflect on where you are right now and where you want to be. Are you ready to step into your power and become someone others deeply value? Start small, pick one principle to focus on this week, and take deliberate steps to incorporate it into your life. Over time, these changes will build on each other, and you'll find yourself not only transforming your relationships but also your sense of self. If this video has resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like this video and comment number 1 below to let me know which of these principles you're most excited to apply in your life. Your feedback helps me create content that's even more impactful and tailored to your journey. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel for more powerful insights on Stoicism, relationships, and personal growth. Together, we'll continue building the tools and mindset needed to thrive in every area of life. Share this video with someone who might benefit from these lessons. They might need these principles as much as you do. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment. Remember, the person who values themselves deeply and lives authentically becomes a light in the lives of others, someone they can't imagine losing. I can't wait to see how these principles transform your life. Until next time, take care, stay strong, and keep striving for the best version of yourself. You've got this.